Welcome to Hello Chaos, a weekly podcast exploring the messy and chaotic lives and minds of founders, entrepreneurs, and innovators. Each week, I have the privilege to speak with founders across the spectrum, founders from different industries at various stages, from startups to mature businesses of all shapes and sizes. Our listeners get to hear the real, the raw, the unvarnished viewpoints and stories, getting incredible insights on what it takes to start and scale a business, to become a better founder, a better CEO, or just a better business leader. Today on our show, we have Ryan Provost. He is the founder of Booz Box Cocktails, calling in from the should I say Jersey Shore?
Yeah,
Almost Jersey Shore.
You could say Jersey Shore. I'm close enough.
Jersey Shore adjacent.
Yeah, exactly. A little more inland, but close enough.
That's right. Welcome, Ryan. I appreciate you being on Hella Chaos.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. Well, start us out. What inspired you to start Booz Box?
So it all started during the pandemic of summer of 2020. So I was with my business partner. We were living together in Jersey City at the time, and we decided one day to start a business. And that business just happened to be a box cocktail business.
Did either one of you guys have experience in the food and beverage industry?
Yes, my business partner Norman has experience in the food and beverage industry. Me, not so much. I'm more of the business end of the company.
Yeah.
So I have experience in the music and television business.
Very good.
So that's kind of where I got more of the entrepreneurial side of things. And, I kind of, handle the business side of the company.
Yeah. So what was the gap that you guys saw of like, all right, people need a ginormous box of cocktails?
Well, that's actually one thing that we considered before starting the company. So there's not much competition out there in terms of boxed cocktails.
Yeah.
So we decided, why not put Norman's cocktails in a box? And we kind of just landed on that niche, came up with the name, the logo within the matter of a day.
Wow.
And before we knew it, everything came together. And, fast forward 4 years later, we're on the shelves, we're selling, we're in 6 different markets, and things are moving fast.
Are you guys nationally distributed, or is it more of the East Coast?
It's mainly the Northeast where we are right now,
Okay.
New Jersey and New York and Rhode Island. And we actually just launched Florida, California, and Texas as well. So
Wow.
We're in a couple Total Wine stores throughout those states.
That's awesome. So what surprised you the most of getting into this? I mean, you guys had to develop a product, packaging, then, retail distribution. Like, what's been the biggest, I guess, surprise?
Yeah, I want to say that the manufacturing side and getting the product all ready to go and shelf ready, really, that was the biggest challenge. Getting everything prepared and, figuring out the ins and outs of the manufacturing process, the formulation process, having the cocktails already ready to go from Norman, recipe book was a huge help. But, the formulator has to do their own thing with it and make it shelf stable. So
right.
Things go into that process, which was, we learned a lot over the last couple of years.
Did you guys have to contract out your manufacturer, or did you guys bring everything in vertically?
Yeah, we contract out the manufacturer. Okay. So everything's actually made in Jersey.
Nice. Okay.
So that was cool for us being a New Jersey-based brand. Our manufacturer's in Jersey. The only thing is our packaging. The box is outsourced from upstate New York. So
that's close enough.
Close enough. Still the Northeast. So that's
right. Yeah. What was the biggest? I mean, you said the manufacturing and all that, the challenge. What has been the most rewarding part?
I would say the business side of it. Getting the business all prepared and ready to go over the last couple of years has, truly been rewarding. It's been a challenge. So getting through those challenges and coming out the other side, stronger, and, you know, more knowledgeable in the field has definitely been something that I'll, you know, cherish forever. You know, so I never,
Really? You're not gonna be like, "Oh my god," like,
yeah, no, I mean,
would
don't
you
get me
would you
wrong.
redo anything? Like, if you had to go back and hit rewind to go, "Man, I wish I woulda known that," or,
Oh,
"Could I hit rewind?" Are there
oh,
did you have any of those moments?
oh yeah, oh yeah, all the time, all the time. But you know, at the end of the day, nothing's perfect in this world. You know, if everything were perfect, then you know, it wouldn't be fun. You know,
Right.
overcoming those challenges is just so rewarding at the end of the day. So
Do you
it,
do you look at those as I always say, to me, those aren't, if you've had failures or missteps, they're just lessons learned. Is that kinda how you
yeah,
look at it?
exactly. Lessons learned, and you know, you learn from your mistakes at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Um, what what surprised you the most, or what did you learn anything about yourself? I mean, yes, you learned everything about the industry, but from a self-reflection, was there anything that surprised uh you about your own self?
Well, I always knew that I was a hard worker. You know, ever since I was a little kid, you know, I've been, you know, that's kind of how my dad raised me. So I've always been a hard worker. And, you know, this kind of just really showed how hard of a worker I really am. And,
Mm,
you know, over the past couple of years, just working on like the supply chain side of things and getting the
yeah.
business ready from start to now finish. Not quite finished, but, you know, we're on the shelves, we're selling, but we're not there
Right.
yet. The finish line will be when we sell. But to get to that point, a lot of things learned along the way, and you know the work has just been insanely hard and just really tested my strength in that
Y-
field.
Yeah. I always, whenever I talk to founder, we talk to, thousands of founders and stuff over the last few years, and I find that we're built a little bit differently.
Mhm.
Um, I've been a founder for a little over 10 years, and you find that there's this common thread among us all, that we've got it's that resilience, the perseverance. We've got a lot more gumption. I
Yeah,
think those are we all have different journeys, right? No
yeah,
matter, and we're in different industries, different products or services that we sell, small to large, but it just seems like a common thread.
yeah. No, perseverance and resilience. You nailed it there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
being a founder, you need those qualities. You know, along with many more, but those are some of the top
Some of
qualities.
the big ones. Yeah, I
Yeah,
always say, like, I think I have this on my LinkedIn or something. I'm full of grace, grit, and gin. Those are my.
gin. Yeah, that's actually one of our products. We have gin in our watermelon cooler.
Oh, see, yeah, you need to send a shipment over it so we can
Yeah.
slap the bat the oh
Oh
my
yeah.
god, slap the bladder, the bag,
Slap the bag. Slap the
slap the
bag.
bladder.
Yeah. No, people have been drinking it right out of the box, but
You
yeah,
said that.
yeah,
That's so
yeah. So
crazy.
we'll have to get you guys to, you know, slap the bag for us and
That's
get
right.
content.
It'll be, the rite of passage.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so coming into this, were there any perceptions that you had of, oh, this is what it's like to start a business and scale a business, and then you got in there and you were like, those fuckers lied, like that's not how it happened. Did you have any of those kind of uh, situations or something that you were like, that is not how it works?
Yeah, yeah, no, like all the time, really. You know, I figured that it would be, you know, somewhat easy to scale this brand, you know, after starting it and, you know, coming out with our first clip of 1,000 cases it was.
Whoa.
You know, and our next batch is looking to be a little bit bigger. So I guess we kind of won, you know, with the scalability of it so far.
Right.
You know, we are still working on getting funding ready for obviously the next batch and our future batches and, you know, marketing and all that. But in terms of, you know, the scalability, it's, yeah, nothing ever goes to plan. You know, we
No.
really had to think outside the box over the last year and, you know, figure out these challenges and get through them and, you know, figure it out on our own, really. You know, sometimes we fail, sometimes we succeed, but at
That's
the end of the
right. What was the biggest wall that you hit in the last year? Just you were like, shit, that did not go the way I thought it was going to go.
oh, yeah, the biggest wall. I would say, yeah, probably after our first manufacturing run. Yeah, like it just went, it kept on going and going and going when I thought, like, when is this going to end? And, you know, at the end, no, actually, before our actually last manufacturer run, we were working with another manufacturer.
We, I've heard that from a lot of
So,
startups of like,
mhm.
you've within a first, very short, timeline. I think you're, I would say at least the 12th, the 13th founder who were like, I switched manufacturers.
Yeah.
The first one did not work out.
First one was complete shit show. So
was it because they didn't know how to do your formulation, or was it like, what was the?
It was more like the communication side of it. So they did our formulas and everything was ready to go. We got our funding together and we were ready to go to get our, our 1,000 cases ready for one. And, they ended up just not responding to us. It's their communication leading up to the point when we were ready was just, they would answer us like once a month with a yes or no email. Oh, we'll send the invoice, we'll send the PO, and then, things going. We would have video calls with them. We even went down to the manufacturing office down in Atlanta, Georgia, met with the team, and they ended up just stiff arming us. So that was something we learned, just like be careful who you work with.
Yeah.
And, so it was good that we found our current manufacturer that we're working with. Really happy.
Did you change your, like when you went to then go vet others, did you ask different questions, or was it just like a chemistry thing? How did you make sure that this next relationship was the better one?
So we did a little bit of research. This company actually that we're working with now, they didn't do bag and box. So it's really, really hard to find bag and box manufacturers out there. And we were looking high and low every single day, doing research, hitting up manufacturers every single day, and nobody did it. Or maybe nobody wanted to work with a new company like us.
Right.
So we couldn't really gauge like what everybody's thoughts were on this. And we finally landed Meta Brands. They're based in Edison, New Jersey. And we had a meeting with them, a couple of phone calls, and just told them about our story and, how we came about with this idea. And, they liked it. And they brought us in and, they invested in the equipment for our product. And, now they actually do bag and box for, another brand.
So they saw an opportunity.
They saw an opportunity for us. So now they're going to capitalize on that and work with other brands that want to do bag and box. So
that's awesome.
Kind of a win-win for both of us.
Also, that helped to, because a lot of, and it's so good that you have that mindset and see that perspective, because, I've talked to other founders who were, that would have blocked that of not saying it. No, that's the category. We need more expansion. That's a healthy thing. So that's, that's fantastic that they, not only did they see that opportunity, but you guys looked at it as, this is good for us too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. What would you be doing if you had no fears? Like if you're waiting to exit, is there another business that you're like, this is really what I want to create and do? Or is it more of, I'm going to take this and just enjoy?
Yeah, no, that's really it. I'm going to take this and see where it goes. Like our whole plan with this is to, sell the company within the next 5 years. So, that was kind of the whole idea getting into this business, as obviously everybody wants to make money. So that's kind of what we're focused on. And right now is obviously the building phase, the scaling phase. And that's really what we're focused on now. And in the next couple of years, after we start getting our investors on board, we start scaling throughout the country, building our manufacturing, our distribution partnerships, and our sales partnerships. Then after that, hopefully we get to sell.
You go, hey, somebody pay attention to us.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. No, I mean, hopefully we're making a little bit of noise, on our social media. I mean, I think we are, and we continue to, and we're people are messaging us every day, like saying, "Oh, I can't wait to try your products. Are you in Arkansas yet? Are you in Kansas yet?" And so that's good. It's reaching a whole wide range of people.
That's right. That's right. Do you guys purely sell through wholesale distributors, retail distributors? Do you do direct to consumer yet, or is that a path?
Direct to consumer, we're actually working on right now. Okay. So we had a meeting with a company yesterday, and they're going to be helping us revamp our website.
Nice.
And get everything in order for us to be able to sell online. So yeah, we're looking really forward to that in 2025.
That's that. So if we met next year to celebrate, is that what we'll be celebrating? We'd be celebrating something else.
Yeah. No, I mean, we'll celebrate that. We'll celebrate, successes, our wins, and
getting into national, right? Getting into all the big retail shops.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully all of them throughout the country. It's really hard nowadays, especially with all the regulations happening in the space.
Yeah.
There's a lot
It,
of spirits and, ABV content, and certain states have certain laws, especially the control states, and what stores can take your product, which ones can't.
mm,
Like for example, we just did a partnership with Texas,
yeah,
and we can't sell our product in convenience stores because of our
that's right.
ABV, and our actually, well, they can't sell spirits, RTD spirits, so
Right.
we only sell beer and wine. So that's one thing we have to work around, and find other partnerships that will be able to, they'll be able to take us in.
Yeah. Is Texas the only? I know Texas has weird laws, especially around breweries inside of Texas. It's hard for them to distribute outside of Texas. Is there other weird states that are like that? That it's like that you got to work around.
Yeah, most of the control states are super weird like that, and I believe there's like 16 in the country. I believe
It's
Pennsylvania, New Hampshire is one of them.
okay.
Yeah, they're just scattered through. I think North Carolina is another one, but yeah, those are the kind of states that have these rules and regulations, and their distribution laws are super weird. They you have to go through the state to be able to get your product on the shelves. Like the state owns liquor stores, I believe it is. I have to do my
Yeah, that's
research
North
on that a
Carolina.
little more.
Yeah, the ABC stores.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
ABC stores, you have to go through them in order to sell your product, and
Uh,
it's a big mess. And I hope that.
so now you've just like put here. Let me learn all 50 states and there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's why we have some of our team members that we just brought on. A couple sales and distribution partners who have that. Those are the people that have the knowledge with things like that. They
Yeah.
answer all of our questions, and they have the resources to be able to, you know, sell our products in certain markets, and distribute our products in certain markets. So it's crucial to have team members like that on board.
Hey, founders, quick pause in the chaos for something that might just change the way you think about marketing. If you've ever hired an agency and felt like you got a bunch of fluff, no results, and a lot of, hey, look at this cool logo, you're not alone. Bright marketing is not like that. They are not there to sell you tactics you do not need or drown you in buzzwords. They work with you to solve the real friction points, keeping your business, your brand from growing. Bright Marketing is a different kind of agency, one built for founders, CEOs, and teams who are done wasting money on marketing and advertising that doesn't move the needle. Their secret weapon? Curiosity. They ask better questions, they connect the dots, they tailor strategies that make branding, marketing, and advertising actually work as a growth engine, not an expense. So if your brand is stuck or your marketing feels like an expensive guessing game, talk to them. They're offering a mini brand therapy workshop. It's a 60-day tune up. Only 5 slots are available. Send an email to hello@gobrightnow.com and grab one of these spots. Or to learn how their service packages can help you get clarity, confidence, and real results, send that email today and write curious in the subject line. Now back to the chaos. So when you've so you're scaling, so as and you're bringing on team members and stuff. So that means you're we call it the new level, new devil, right? As you start getting to different, you expand your team. What are you finding that is like a personal challenge, not just the business, but like you are you finding any kind of personal challenge of like, oh, I got to lead differently, or I've got to manage differently, or, what what's our culture like? Have you faced any of those things, and how are you handling those kind of things?
Yeah, no, bringing on more people is definitely key for a business, and it kind of takes off a lot more work off our plate and my business partner's plate. So bring, like on a COO or a CFO,
Right.
or the sales and distribution partners. Like Norman and I, we were selling ourselves throughout the entire year, so we
That's
were
what I was
doing
like.
everything.
So, and you guys are partners, so co-founders and partners, obviously friends, right?
Yeah,
Before
yeah, yeah, yeah.
buddies.
Best friends.
Have
Yeah.
you guys had any friction points within that partnership of like, oh, or was it pretty amicable? Like, I know my role, I know his role. We
Yeah.
kind of stay in our lanes and we're good.
No,
Um,
yeah, believe it or not, yeah, no real friction,
oh,
no
so
arguments.
fortunate.
It was pretty smooth. For the most part, we kind of just both know our roles in the company. Norman's the product guy. He's created the recipes,
He's the
and
creative guy.
he's the creative guy.
Yeah.
And I guess you could say that I'm the business guy, which I never thought I'd be saying because I always thought I was a creative, in the last, 20 years or whatever, you know.
Yeah. And as you guys are recruiting and bringing on and expanding your team, are there things that that you like about yourself, and you really, like you just said, I thought I was more creative, but that you wish other people really recognized more about you? Have you run into that yet? Of like,
Yeah,
oh,
I would say it's my my leadership. I really
yeah,
like how I've been leading this company and bringing on new members like our
yeah,
COO, CFO, like I mentioned, and building this company to what it needs to be. And at the end of the day, you can't really. I would say it would be hard to build a company if it was just you and one other person. You
yeah.
need to make sure you spread yourself out. Hire people that are good at what they do rather
That's
than
right.
trying to take on everything because you can get overwhelmed and swamped really fast, and that's not fun.
Yeah. No. No, I've been there.
Yeah.
If you had to change two things about your business today, like if you could wave a magic wand, what two things would you change?
I would change. Um, I was gonna say the name, but I think the name is that was one of the more
What would you
catchy.
change it to?
No, yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. I think Boost Box just really fits, and
Yeah.
obviously that it wasn't taken honestly when we trademarked it, but um, I would have gone right to Tetra Pak. Yeah, I would have gone right to Tetra Pak. So Tetra Pak is a smaller single serve rather than
Okay.
the larger 1.75.
Okay. So like what you would, the only way I can was, it's like the coconut water box.
Yeah, it's like
Is
a
that like the
yeah,
single?
grab and
Yeah.
go, like from a convenience store. Exactly. Yeah, you grab it right off
Ah,
the shelf.
can you not shift to that?
No, we can, and we have
Okay.
plans to. So, it's a little pricey. That's the only thing. They have high
Uh,
MOQs, so um, we're just gonna have to wait, most likely later this year for Tetra Pak, especially when we have the funding ready,
right.
which hopefully will be soon. And yeah, since we have the funding, Tetra Pak is one of our main priorities. So I think that's going to be game changing for the brand.
Awesome. So basically funding and Tetra Pak. Two
Yes.
things you would change.
Yeah, yeah. Well, funding's hard. I mean, like funding is just you need to, obviously connect with the right people for that kind
Right.
of thing. So
Is
that's
that what you guys are looking, like a private equity firm, or is it more of like individual private investors?
yeah. Well, we're having meetings with VCs,
Okay.
angels, and private equity firms. We're also running a crowdfunding campaign right now.
Okay.
So right now we just got through the friends and family phase. So now we're doing the public phase, and we're
Nice.
running social media ads and doing other kind of marketing tactics.
So people can pay attention to that. Is it just under Booze Box of GoFundMe?
It's under the Booz Box page, but
Okay.
we're doing the crowdfunding campaign on looped.co. It's
Okay.
LOUPT.co, and you'll be able to find our campaign right on that page. And it's an equity crowdfunding campaign. So basically, you invest in the company for equity, for part
Hey,
ownership.
how's the process been when you're meeting with these VCs and private equity? Because again, we talked to a lot of founders who were like, "Oh, if I had to go back," we've heard horror stories, and then we've also heard really positive ones. How are you dealing with these meetings and making sure that you've got the right, investor that's not gonna?
Yeah, no, it's kind of I've been leveraging LinkedIn a lot.
Yeah,
So I've been doing my outreach on that and been getting, a good response rate, I think. I'll send out a bunch of messages every day.
yeah,
I'll get like a couple back and some won't show interest. And then, you'll get your one or two that'll say, no, let's hop on a meeting.
right,
So you basically, in those meetings, you give them the rundown about the brand, and then they always ask about the opportunity and, the investment opportunity and, what their ROI is and what we
right,
actually need, how much do you need and what's the equity?
right,
So those are some of the main questions, and it's really about navigating those meetings properly and just gaining their interest at the end of the day. Like, what you as an investor, like, what is your interest, and why do you want to be a part of Boost Box?
right. Because you're giving them an opportunity.
Right, giving you an opportunity here.
That's right.
And we're an expanding company. You got obviously sell them on it, give them the highlights of the company and why you are the best and why you stand out from other brands. So
Right.
that's what you really have to um, you know um, really have to be cognizant of, to be able to really win these investors over. It's
Yeah.
tough, but hopefully something will come soon.
Has that been a fun process for you?
Oh man, so fun, so fun. No, yeah, yes and no. Definitely learning a lot. Every meeting, I'm definitely learning something new about, just the investment space in general, and what investors are actually looking for in a beverage
Right.
company. So yeah, it's
It's like
fun.
knowing what questions then to ask. What's
Yeah.
been the toughest question that you were like, "Whoa, that was a weird question. I would have never prepared for that." Have you had any of those?
Oh man. Somewhat. Yeah. I have to think about that one, but yeah. So some of these guys, they'll ask you things about the investment space or like the financial space that I won't personally know.
Right.
I'm not a finance guy.
You're
I
like,
didn't study it.
"Dude, I make booze in a
Yeah,
box."
yeah. It's like, sometimes they'll just ask, yeah, different questions about the finance space that I'm not too particular on, which is why sometimes you need to have the CFO on board to answer those types of questions. But,
Right.
when it's the little stuff, when it comes to finance, like, margins or what your ROI would be in the company, those are
Right.
some things that are pretty easy to answer. As long as you're buttoned up and do your homework,
That's
obviously.
right.
Gotta
That's
do your
right. Um, what's been the best advice that you received as a founder, maybe from another founder, another business person that you were like, "Ooh, I've not only enjoyed that, but I have taken it to heart, and it's in our practice and every." Do you have any good advice that you've been given to share?
Um, Yeah, I would say some of the best advice that I've gotten is from some of the beverage entrepreneurs in the world right now.
Hmm.
So we were speaking with a beverage friend of ours. His name's Joey, and yeah, I had a meeting with him right before we started the company, and yeah, he was really just giving us insight on starting an RTD brand, and just was showing us the ropes on how to get started and kind of what obstacles to go through to be able to land certain things. Like, for example, our compliance partner. We got some really good insight on building a good network around our compliance partner. So that compliance partner, they help us out with our POs and our invoicing, our accounting,
Right.
all the back end paperwork that really we don't want to
You
handle.
were like, "Ooh, this was good."
If Yeah, that was one of the
That's
biggest
like a
things.
school tuition right
Oh
there, just
my
an
God.
advice.
Yeah, exactly. And that's stuff that obviously, you don't want to handle. And they handle even like the deliveries, the compliance partner handles. So that's
Wow.
another thing where,
And that came from another founder in the space?
yeah, he gave us the insight onto what company to go with and what they do and how they'll help us. So that was
Yeah.
really helpful information. If we didn't have that conversation with him, we would probably still be stuck today. Like, what do we do?
Right, because you guys would have been learning, and it's amazing that I'm glad you said that because that's another, I would say a common theme that we've heard, um, personality trait across founders and entrepreneurs. We are very generous with our time and our knowledge, and um, I would say more so in my experience, at least, and this is what I hear from other founders, stories just like that. And I could name off dozens of similar. I'm like, just pick up the phone. And
Yeah.
it's just like, we are
Yeah.
here as this resource to each other.
No, yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. I couldn't agree more. I get hit up all the time on LinkedIn and social media, and people ask for a phone call for advice, and
and
I'm more than happy to give you 5-10 minutes of my time, and
exactly.
questions for you. Yeah,
I,
like
I do
I've
the,
also been in front of people where they don't give you your time, and they'll be assholes, which is
that's right.
and that's something you have to deal with. Be like, all right, well, thanks anyway, and go to the next one, and
Right. But I found that I get that from people that were, hired into companies. They weren't the founder, the entrepreneur,
right. I've
and
noticed
then,
that too. It's the people
yeah,
who are hired in, or they're like really low in the totem pole, and they think that they're better than you or something
right.
by
But
not
yeah,
taking your meeting. Like they're, yeah,
it was one of the reasons I started Orange Whip. That Hello Casa is one of the resources for it was because of trying to build a better connected community among entrepreneurs because we have this great energy, um, and service to each other like this, and it's an innate, uh, personality trait of ours of we will be generous within our community, to
yeah,
support each other,
yeah. I
and
feel
it's
like there's
amazing.
other founders that understand other founders, and they
Yeah.
understand what we've gone through, to build our business to what it is today, or founders that have built other businesses and sold them. Like they understand what we've gone through. So
That's right.
I think
That's right. I always call it they other founders become even people that, like you said, you could just tap them on LinkedIn to go, do you have 5 minutes? And most of them will, or in your own community. I always call it, they're your unexpected cheerleader.
Yeah.
That you never even knew you needed.
Right.
And some are, if they're especially in your back door, they're your backyard, they're watching. And might be a cheerleader and you didn't even know they're your cheerleader.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I completely agree with that.
Did you tap in any local resources to get started that, or did you guys really just kind of tapped into your own experience and your own connections when you were like, okay, how do we even do this?
So like local resources, yeah, we've definitely leveraged some of those. In terms of, say, for example, liquor stores in our area. So I am still living down in central Jersey, and I was taking advantage of the liquor stores that we have in this area. And I was going around and hitting those stores in this general area. And I was able to land, I think, 30 or 40 stores in this area over the last year. Wow. So I was using my personal network around here for that. And Norman, he was handling more the North Jersey area. So he was kind of doing the same thing up there. He was also getting, our product on to shelves in on-premise accounts like bars and other restaurants, which, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
That's what I was like. Were they pretty accepting of that?
Yeah. So we have a partnership with an outdoor bar up in North Jersey in Hoboken called Pier 13.
Okay.
And yeah, they did some heavy volume this summer, so we were really surprised about that. I think it was the Frozens, honestly. Yeah, we really crushed it with the Frozens there this summer. So yeah, people are all about it there. And then we also do the single drinks, and people can buy it by the box. So yeah, we did really well there. We're excited for this summer again at Pier 13, and hopefully other outdoor venues really catch on. Right. Media after seeing what we've done there. But other than that, yeah, off-premise accounts like liquor stores. It's going to be our main play, I think, for Booz Box. And that's something that we leverage just, in our general, just being locals. Right. We had a connection in Rhode Island, actually. He was somebody we went to college with at URI. So he was interested in taking our product on, and we were able to get into about, 30 to 40 stores in Rhode Island, along with a couple of on-premise accounts. Yeah. So that was great. And then, I actually met somebody through LinkedIn, and he was able to connect us with Total Wine. With the buyer there. So that was another massive connection.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, you're just working using LinkedIn.
LinkedIn has been the most helpful thing ever, honestly. Crazy.
Well, that's how I got connected with you.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I know everybody's there for business, everybody wants to, connect and network
and help each other. Right.
Help each other. Yes, exactly.
Who do you think is your biggest cheerleader?
Biggest cheerleader. I would say my mom.
She's like, go Ryan.
Yeah, my mom, my dad, my family. Yeah.
Do they understand, or do they have when you start a business, you should have more freedom. Why are you working so hard? Or is it they're like, no, it's hard work. We get it, and keep going.
No, they see the hard work that's being put in, on my end. But I guess that it really is coming to a time where, when are you going to start having fun again and enjoying yourself? But
you got to balance, Ryan. We got to balance.
Exactly. Sometimes I work a little too much, and I have to watch that. I need time for personal time and have fun and get outside, enjoy the sun, and
summer's coming up too.
Summer's coming up. Yeah.
What do you do for free time?
Free time?
In your little free time.
My little bit of free time that I have. I enjoy spending time with family. I like playing soccer. I'm a big soccer guy. I like watching soccer. But sports too. Sports in general, I'm big on. My family and I, we're big sports people. They're more big. My other family members are more big in the the baseball, basketball, football space, which I'm like, I'll watch it, but I don't follow it like they do.
So you didn't go into Philadelphia and trash.
No, I had the city that were there, and
my daughter was there with her. He is grew up outside of Philly in Mount Laurel.
I'm familiar. Yeah.
And yeah, huge Eagles fan and
I'm
stuff.
sure.
But yeah, she sent us pictures of guess where we are.
Yeah, were they like right down Main Street where there was
They're
like
right
millions of
down. Yeah,
people? And man, I didn't
the
not.
the craziness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I'm all set
you're
with
like I'm good.
no, yeah, too many people like that. Like, no, I'll stay where I am and watch the game.
um, no, this is so. So, what do you do? Have you entered any kind of routines or disciplines to keep you either to stay focused or to create some kind of balance?
So I
Or are
like,
you a work in progress like like the rest of us?
yeah, no, I enjoy going to the gym. So I'll work out in the mornings along with a run, and I eat good for the most part, and that's some of the main things, honestly, that really keep my head straight and my mind clear. Those are some honestly some underrated things that people don't. I mean, I know people are really focusing on the health conscious and
Right.
going to the gym more, which is great, and that's something I really like tapped into over the last couple of years. And I just found my thinking and my
Yeah,
brain just so much more clear, and especially for running the business, it's crucial that you're in a good state of mind
that's right. Always. Yeah,
always.
find whatever works for you and
Yeah.
stick to it. You need to have that mental clarity.
And
Because
like you
it,
said, balance too. Balance is
oh,
crucial, and you can have a couple cocktails here and there, but as long as you balance it out with a,
that's
good
right.
gym session, sweat it out, and then
And
that's it.
you got, and like freeze the bag so that you do get, so it's like built in slushies. I didn't even
Yeah,
think about that.
yeah. You
Oh,
can
we're
you
going
can
to have
freeze the
fun.
bag. Yeah, you can freeze the bag, make a slushy out of it. Yeah, exactly.
When you were like the Pier 13, did a
Yeah,
lot of it the slushy. Um,
yeah,
we'll need to try
exactly.
that out.
Yeah,
Um, that's fun.
yeah. If you guys are
Uh,
ever in the area, come up to Pier 13 and enjoy. Yeah, we have the tables wrapped with our products, and this is
I
the
love it.
summer. Hopefully, there's going to be branding everywhere, so there'll be a
Well,
big, big.
and I probably need to come up there and visit. My best girlfriend lives in Hoboken. She moved there right after college, and
Really?
she's been
Yeah,
there
yeah.
ever.
That's where
Her,
we are.
yeah,
That's where we
she
are.
married her high school sweetheart. We all went to college together, and then they both moved. He's a Wall Street broker. I mean, he
Oh,
goes
there
into
you
the
go.
city, but
Yeah.
she's a designer, interior designer, and they lived in Hoboken.
Oh wow, sounds
Their
like they're
kids
living
and
great life. Yeah, it's a
yeah,
really
they love it. She's like,
oriented place. Yeah, they have kids, I'm sure, a dog, and that's what all.
yeah, like it's,
Yeah.
she sends pictures. I'm like, I need to come visit. That's fun. uh, yeah, we're having our high school reunion is coming up, a milestone this summer. So I'm like, I can't wait to see you.
Hey, there you go.
And okay, so if you had to sum up your entrepreneurial journey in one word, your founder journey, what would that word be?
I'm gonna have to go with resilience.
There you go. Yeah.
I know you mentioned that word before, but that was the word that I honestly, whenever I think of entrepreneurial journey, I think of that, and that's something I've definitely implemented since starting
Yeah.
the company.
I always say like somebody was like, what is resilience? I'm like, think of it as like a rubber band. And the more resilient like and I think founders have that like our rubber band is very stretchy. It's the rubber bands that are become really what you don't have the rubber band that's brittle. That like
Yep.
once you stretch it, does it pop and expand does disintegrate. It's all about that resilience. Keep
Yes.
you elasticy.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. No,
Taylor last
yeah,
I make up words.
that's a great analogy, by the way. Great analogy. The
Okay, so if you had to think of the next chapter in your journey, what is that word?
next chapter, it would be to sell the company and probably move down south. I would say down to Florida. Yeah, that's I have my
So
eyes on.
you want to go to Florida?
I need to be somewhere warm year
I'm with
round.
you.
I
I always joke.
can't do this
We're
cold anymore.
no,
No.
we're in South Carolina, and but we're in the upper part of South Carolina, so we do get 4 seasons. Just
Oh,
our
okay.
winter, like it was 85 degrees yesterday.
Oh, see, that's perfect. I mean,
It's
it's
about
still
what
February.
60. It's 75 today, so our winter is only like maybe a month. So
Yeah, see, like that's fine. So any South
yeah,
Carolina and South, then I'm
that's
completely.
right. I'm only here with the 4 seasons because my husband was like, I need to be somewhere 4 seasons. If it were me, we would have been on
Yeah,
an island somewhere where it
yeah,
was only 2 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, South Florida, that's the only thing. Like during the summer, it's kind of unbearable.
Yeah.
You're
I
about
could be I could
110,
be warm and hot. That would
completely
be
humid, and you're sweaty and gross, and it's just, ugh. That's the only downside.
that's when you reach for the booze box
Yes.
and you get that frozen and
Yes.
you enjoy that slushy.
Exactly.
That's good. So yeah, freedom. So your next chapter is called uh Island Time.
Yeah. Island time or warmth time. I
Warmth.
mean, yeah, just somewhere where it's warm. Give
Like
me
get me
somewhere
out
warm.
of the cold.
Yeah.
Uh that's so fun. Oh my God. This has been fantastic. I've loved to get to know you and your story and your journey and we're gonna watch Booze Box take over the world.
No, man, thank
All
you.
the
Yeah,
liquor shelves. But before we
really
go,
appreciate
where do you want people to connect with you? How can people learn about Booze Box to support you? Give them all the stuff.
So to connect with us on social media, you can connect with us on Instagram. That's instagram.com/boozbox or just at boozbox, BOOZBOX. We have a TikTok account as well. That's at Booz Box Cocktails. So BOOZBOX COCKTAILS.
Excellent. And obviously, if there's an investor or VC out there and you're interested in learning more about Booze Box, connect with Ryan on LinkedIn,
Yes,
the master of LinkedIn.
and we have a crowdfunding campaign going on, and that is on looped.co. That's LOUPT.co. And you can go there to invest if you're interested.
Perfect. We will, and we'll link all this when we publish the episode.
Awesome.
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate
Thank you
your
very much
time
for having me.
today.
I appreciate it.
And for everyone listening or watching us, thank you for joining. The podcast obviously will be available on all your favorite podcast platforms. So please subscribe to Hello Chaos. Give us that 5-star review on Apple or Spotify, because those are my favorite platforms to listen to podcasts. Oh, yeah. Show that Moonlight Mojito.
There you go.
I love it. That is fantastic. I love the packaging, by the way.
Thank you.
That's some good stuff.
Yeah, we're getting great feedback on the packaging.
It is awesome. And the name is perfect. So it's a good name.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I know you were questioning it. You guys came up with it in a day, but it's okay. Yeah. Sometimes brilliance, that's all you need.
It worked out, I think, at the end of the day. So we'll keep it as is.
Perfect. But thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Share this great content. Help us build a more connected entrepreneurial community. Hello Chaos is one of the many resources brought to you by Orange Whip. That is Orange Whip, WIP for work in progress, because that's what we all are. Orange Whip is a multimedia company dedicated to serving founders and entrepreneurs in affiliate cities. We're in 3 cities in South Carolina today, looking to expand to other cities. We've designed hyper-local media platforms that scale to inform, inspire, and be the independent connective tissue between founders and their local entrepreneurial ecosystem. We've done all the hard work for founders. All they have to do to go is to one trusted source to get curated calendars, local dynamic roadmaps, resource directories, the buzz and the chatter of the founders and entrepreneurs in that local market, but everything in one place. So there you go. If you'd like to be a guest on our podcast or support us, send us an email to hello@orangewhip.com. And thank you for tuning in to Hello Chaos. It is where AHA meets Oh Shit, and we will see you again next week.